The Exorcist is a 1973 movie directed by William Friedkin, and is lauded as one of the greatest supernatural horror films ever made. After adjustment for inflation, The Exorcist would be the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time, but how does it hold up today? The story follows three characters living very separate lives, before their paths meet, towards the final third of the movie. We have Father Merrin, played brilliantly by Max von Sydow, an elderly priest who is reminded of a demonic presence whilst attending an archaeological dig in the Middle East. Father Karras, played by Jason Miller, also a priest, who is beginning to doubt his faith whilst dealing with his mother's battle against a terminal sickness. And finally, Regan, an ordinary 12-year-old girl, whose sudden dramatic behavioral changes have caused her actress mother to investigate her well-being. The movie starts with old git, Father Merrin. He stumbles around, and generally makes a tit of himself in Iraq, before he encounters a demonic statue, and views it as a bad omen. The statue is in the image of Pazuzu, which is bad, apparently, and the doddery old bastard deems it a warning of something evil coming his way. Meanwhile, back in the US, actress Chris McNeil is concerned there may be rats in the attic of the house she is staying in, whilst on location with her daughter. Regan is a normal horse-loving, cookie-stealing, 12-year-old girl, for now, anyway. Next, we are introduced to Father Karras, who to be honest, is a bit of a loser, living on the wrong side of the tracks. He lives in a dark, dingy apartment with his old bag of a mother, and contemplates putting her into a nursing home, due to her dwindling health, mainly a trap leg. But the old dear is stubborn, and would rather make his life a pain in the ass by sticking around. After a swift half with his silver-haired buddy, he decides the old church game ain't for him anymore, and confesses his desire to leave the priesthood for good. As for his mother, well, it's only a matter of time before she is admitted to the nut house, which is a strange place to end up after suffering with a dodgy leg. Father Karras promises to get his mother out of there, but she can't forgive him. It's too late. He has to live with the guilt of not affording better care for her, and goes for a sweaty punch fest to let off some steam. From here on, the movie gets its spook on. Regan starts acting very odd during a routine medical checkup, and her doctor reveals to her mother that she is quite the fan of the effing, and the jeffing, even the odd C-bomb too. But if bad language wasn't bad enough, she's also diagnosed as going insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. And what first appears like attention deficit disorder, soon manifests into full-blown wrongness of the mind, on all accounts. She even ruins her mother's party by interrupting the sing-along with a bit of light pissing on the carpet. Proper rude, bang out of order etiquette if you ask me, but it does depend on the type of party you're at, I suppose. Her mother is naturally distraught, not just because of the carpet, and slowly loses her shit due to Regan's mysterious health decline. The doctors are bloody useless. They don't know their assholes from their elbows. So what exactly is wrong with Regan? What caused a perfectly normal 12-year-old girl to flip her lid? Good question. The movie doesn't give us any hints as to why Regan is changing, apart from troubles in her home life. Maybe this is enough. And after Regan's mother has ran out of options to save her daughter, she turns to the doubting Thomas, Father Karras, and the church. If all else fails, maybe a good old-fashioned exorcism is what Regan needs. The church are reluctant to let Karras perform the archaic ritual alone, which leads to him teaming up with old Git Merrin from the start, and there we have it. A child in need, a religious duo ready to exorcise her demons, and a bedroom so cold you'll need your thermals just to keep watching. This sets up one of the most controversial movies of all time, and even now, 50 years later, it is still crowned as one of the scariest films to ever exist. The film, rather unsurprisingly, was banned in several countries, and it's pretty simple to see why. Themes of Satanism, relentless blasphemy, and crucifix masturbation are a surefire way to build hype for any project. The Exorcist has such a prolific and disturbing history that it's hard to believe half of the crazy stuff that happened during its filming and consequent release. Cast and crew died of mysterious circumstances. Linda Blair had to be protected by bodyguards for 6 months after she received death threats from religious groups, claiming her portrayal glorified Satan. Countless reports of cinema-goers fainting and vomiting in movie theaters. Pretty mad stuff, it's fair to say. Apparently, the scene that caused the biggest stink amongst viewers was the hospital scene, in which Reagan received a medical procedure known as an arteriogram. The images of spurting blood were too much for the already hysterical audience, and led to paramedics being called out to treat the weak-stomached general public. My favorite scene was one that spooked me the most. Father Karras's mother, who we learned had recently died in the hospital, appears in Reagan's bed briefly. I found this scene the most unsettling, as the demon had chosen the most emotive form to present to Karras, one of his mother, and, already tortured by grief, he had to witness her once more. Watching it recently, I didn't find the movie too scary, it's more disturbing than anything else. Actually, I found certain scenes hilarious, especially the spider walk down the stairs, the pea soup vomit to the face, and the maniacal flopping around on the bed. So is The Exorcist worth watching? Yes, absolutely, but it helps to watch it in the headspace of a typical horror movie fan in 1973. Nowadays, we are somewhat desensitized to these type of blasphemous scenes. Back then it scared the bejesus out of everybody. Enjoy it. Remember how terrified normal folks were when they first saw this, and for heaven's sake, try not to have too many nightmares, my little darlings. I have been HB, the horror bot. Cheers, babes.